The AI landscape is shifting under our feet at breakneck speed today. We are tracking the rise of world models as the next great frontier that promises to push AI far beyond the current limits of language-only systems. Yann LeCun is making bold moves to redefine architecture, while Meta and others race to build systems that actually understand physics and space. This is not just pattern recognition anymore. This is the future of intelligence.
Looking for a fast-charging, ultra-responsive stylus for your iPad? Meet the 2X Fast Charge Active Stylus Pen, designed for 2018 to 2025 Apple iPads. Take your creativity and productivity to the next level. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
Then we have the massive shockwaves hitting Wall Street, thanks to DeepSeek V4. This model is completely rewriting the cost calculus for frontier AI by delivering performance that rivals GPT-5 Beta and Claude 4 Opus at a tiny fraction of the usual price. It is a masterclass in architectural efficiency that has investors sweating and engineers scrambling to understand how they achieved this on constrained hardware. But DeepSeek is not stopping there, because they have just previewed their new V4 Flash and V4 Pro models to the world. With massive context, windows hitting 1 million tokens, and parameter counts that dwarf almost everything else in the open weight category, they are aggressively closing the gap with OpenAI and Google. It is a direct challenge to the incumbents that is being felt across the entire tech industry. Finally, these new models from DeepSeek are taking on Silicon Valley by proving that high-end reasoning and agentic capabilities do not need to cost a fortune. By mastering the mixture of experts architecture, they are offering enterprise-grade power at price points that make the competition look incredibly expensive. If you want to stay ahead of these rapid developments, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Ever feel like the AI we're using today is just a clever parrot? Sure, ChatGPT can write poetry or code, but it doesn't actually know what a cup is. It just knows the word cup usually hangs out with coffee. But what if AI could actually understand the physics of our world? Welcome to the next massive frontier, world models. For a long time, we've treated AI like a giant language machine, but legends like Yann LeCun are shaking things up, even suggesting that in just a few years, our current LLMs might look like relics. Why? Because LLMs are hitting a wall. They're expensive, power-hungry, and they don't know anything about the physical world. World models, however, are different. They don't just predict the next word in a sequence, they simulate reality. Think of it this way. If you want an AI to navigate a real-world disaster or even just drive a car, it needs to understand gravity, social dynamics, and cause and effect. It needs common sense. A world model isn't just regurgitating data. It's building a mental blueprint of the environment. It perceives, predicts, and plans. We're already seeing glimpses of this. Imagine playing a game where you can tell the AI, make everything else themed and throw in a flying elephant. And the engine doesn't just render a picture. It changes the physics and behavior of the game in real time. That's not just cool tech. That's the foundation for training the robots of tomorrow. Companies like NVIDIA and startups like Descartes are using these models to generate synthetic data, effectively teaching robots how to handle the real world without needing millions of hours of real-world trials. From modeling climate change to revolutionizing autonomous cars and even molecular chemistry, world models are moving us from narrow intelligence to something that feels much more like true AGI, artificial general intelligence. So what do you think? Are we looking at the end of the LLM era, or is this just another step in the evolution of machines? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to keep up with the tech that's actually changing reality. Remember, the future isn't just being written, it's being simulated. What if the biggest myth in Silicon Valley isn't that AI will change the world, but that it has to cost billions to do it? Yesterday, the industry took a collective gut punch. DeepSeek just released V4, and it is officially rewriting the math of the AI arms race. While US giants have been burning through massive capital, DeepSeek just dropped a model that benchmarks above OpenAI's GPT-5 Beta and Claude 4 Opus, but they did it for just $4.2 million. That is a 90% drop in training costs and Wall Street is rightfully sweating. Let's talk about how they pulled this off. DeepSeek ditched the traditional transformer backbone we've relied on for a decade. Instead, they went all in on a massive mixture of experts' architecture. With 400 billion total parameters but only 40 billion active per token, the model is incredibly lean. It's like having a team of 256 specialists in the room, but only bringing in the one you actually need for the specific question you're asking. And here's the kicker. They trained this on NVIDIA H800 chips, the restricted, downgraded hardware sold to China after US export controls. If they can hit these performance ceilings with handicapped hardware, it raises a very uncomfortable question for the market. Is the massive spend on H100 clusters actually necessary, or have we just been overpaying for inefficient designs? NVIDIA's stock took a 6% hit immediately after the news, and it's easy to see why. Investors are starting to realize that the compute is everything thesis might have an expiration date, but it's not all sunshine and efficiency. European regulators are already flagging privacy concerns over how that multimodal data was sourced, and it's likely we'll see some friction in enterprise adoption until the legal dust settles. Still, the genie is out of the bottle. By releasing the weights under an open LLM license, DeepSeek has handed the keys to the developer community, and the Software 3 movement is already off to the races. We are seeing a fundamental shift from monolithic models to smarter, sparse architectures. For the builders, this is a massive win. For the incumbents, the pressure to prove that bigger is better just hit an all-time high. Is the era of the trillion-dollar training run coming to an end? Let me know your take in the comments below. If you found this breakdown insightful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because the landscape of AI is shifting faster than we can keep up, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Is the era of expensive, closed-off AI giants finally coming to an end? The landscape just shifted in a major way because DeepSeek has officially dropped its V4 models, and they are making some bold claims that are impossible to ignore. We're talking about a massive update that isn't just incremental. It's designed to challenge the very top of the food chain. DeepSeek has unveiled the V4 Flash and the V4 Pro, both of which boast a massive 1 million token context window. That is huge, folks, enough to feed an entire code bases or dense document libraries in one go. Now, the heavy lifter here is the V4 Pro. With 1.6 trillion total parameters, it is officially the largest open-weight model on the planet. To put that in perspective, it's more than double the size of its predecessor. They are utilizing a mixture of experts architecture, meaning it stays lean by only activating what it needs, keeping costs down while ramping up performance. And performance is exactly what they are touting. DeepSeek claims these models have essentially bridged the gap with the industry's heavy hitters. They are reporting that the V4 Pro actually edges out OpenAI's GPT-5.2 and Gemini 3 Pro on certain reasoning benchmarks. And when it comes to coding, they're standing toe-to-toe with the likes of GPT-5.4. Now, before we crown them the new kings of AI, there is a catch. In general knowledge tests, they still trail the absolute latest from OpenAI and Google by about 3 to 6 months. Plus, these are text-only models, missing the multimodal bells and whistles we see elsewhere. But here is the real kicker: the price. These models are aggressively affordable, undercutting the major frontier models across the board. It is a direct shot at the status quo, especially considering the recent international tension surrounding intellectual property and allegations of model distilling. Whether you see this as brilliant innovation or controversial replication, one thing is clear: DeepSeek is forcing the market to lower its prices and rethink its moat. What do you think? Can an open-weight challenger actually win the long-term race against the massive infrastructure of big tech? Drop a comment below with your take, and if you want to stay ahead of the curve, hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the shifting world of AI. Keep building, keep questioning, and I will see you in the next one. Silicon Valley just got a massive wake-up call, and it's coming from a startup that's rewriting the rules of the AI game. DeepSeek just dropped its V4 models, and the tech giants should be nervous. They've released 2 versions, the Pro for heavy lifting and the Flash for speed, and they are packing a punch that rivals the biggest names in the industry. What's the standout feature? It's not just the improved reasoning or the boosted coding chops. It's the massive 1 million token context window. Imagine feeding an entire codebase into an AI and asking it to troubleshoot the whole thing in one go. That's the kind of power we're talking about here. But here is where it gets really interesting. Efficiency. DeepSeek is using a mixture of experts architecture. Think of it like a library where you don't need to read every single book to find the answer. You just consult the specific experts you need. By only activating a fraction of their trillion-plus parameters, they keep costs remarkably low. This is the same logic that sent Wall Street into a tailspin last year, causing NVIDIA to take a massive hit, because it proved you don't need a small mountain of hardware to get state-of-the-art results. Now, is it perfect? Not quite. DeepSeek admits they are trailing the absolute bleeding edge of GPT and Gemini models by about 3 to 6 months. But let's be honest, for the vast majority of developers and companies, that marginal performance gap is completely irrelevant compared to the massive price advantage. Just look at the numbers. When you compare token pricing, DeepSeek is practically giving this tech away. We're talking cents on the dollar compared to the top-tier models from OpenAI or Google. And since it's open weight and MIT licensed, you're basically getting enterprise-grade intelligence for the cost of your electricity bill. It's a total game changer for anyone building on a budget. So what do you think? Is this the moment open source truly catches up to the closed garden giants, or will the tech titans find a way to pivot? Let me know your take in the comments. And if you want to stay ahead of the curve, hit that like button and subscribe, because the race to the top of the AI mountain is just heating up.